Hello and welcome to this special Lunar New Year broadcast with TaiwanPlus. I'm Rhys Ayres. The Lunar New Year is a time when families across Taiwan get together in the warmth of their homes. But how do those without a place to live or a family to celebrate with survive the chilly winter months? I took a guided tour of Taipei with a man who used to live on its streets.
往日甜蜜有多少，欢笑有多少，如今已不在我们身边了。
Always dressed to impress, the super slick Uncle Liang serenades his customers in a park in Taipei's historic Wanhua district, after leading them on a tour of the streets he used to call home.
拿到麦当劳，你知道吗？我就塞在麦当劳的椅子下面，好，出去玩一玩，回去再去拿。
Liang spent much of his adult life homeless, getting by with odd jobs and the help of local charities. But now, at 70 years old, Liang works as a tour guide, earning enough money to rent his own place. But if you join one of Liang's tours, don't expect to visit famous sites like Taipei 101. Instead, he'll show you the city as experienced by its homeless community and share his own stories of the difficulties of life on the streets.
这个没地方洗澡，哈，一个身上没钱，哈，一个又没有物质的来源。
During the 90-minute walking tour, Liang shows us some key locations for the homeless community, including clothes markets, social gathering spots, and some of his personal favourite cheap eats. These tours do more than simply provide Liang with a stable source of income. With the help of a local NGO, they're designed to educate the public about homelessness.
老实说，我觉得最简单的一件事情就是大家对无家者不要有那么多的所谓的偏见或污名，因为大家都会觉得说无家者是都不工作啊等等。但其实，在街头上的人哦，其实7、8成都是有工作，只是他们的工作所谓是比较不稳定的工作。
And for those who join the tour, it can also help them see the city in a new light.
介绍的很多东西跟我的生活，或者是书上写的万华是完全不一样的。 所以我可以得到很多资讯啊。
Official estimates put Taipei's homeless community at around 600 to 700 people, though NGOs think the true figure is likely higher. Often in the absence of family members to lean on, the homeless community here rely on help from each other and from charities like the Homeless Taiwan Association, who provide a range of support and services. And when the winter months roll around, that community support is more necessary than ever, not only to survive the elements, but also to provide social comfort as families across the country gather to celebrate the Lunar New Year.
像无家者都有认识的嘛，都会邀在一起啊，去买点酒哈，在这边庆祝一下，让人感觉有一种家的感觉。
因为大家过年都是一家人团聚嘛，他们可能就是孤零零的。但是今天看下来这样的情况，他们可能互相之间都已经是朋友，他们可能已经成为一家人这样。
Every year, partnering with a local restaurant, the Homeless Taiwan Association puts on a New Year banquet, a welcome treat for a community who are seldom afforded such luxuries.
其实我在这边也是认识了很多朋友，因为唱歌的关系嘛，自然而然就会认识到朋友。
While Taiwan's total homeless population may be small compared to most countries, they remain a misunderstood and even sometimes feared group of individuals, and many of them struggle with physical or mental difficulties. Through their unique city tours, Uncle Liang and the Homeless Taiwan Association invite the public to take a more compassionate view, particularly at a time of year that's all about togetherness. Karma Xu and Rhys Ayres for TaiwanPlus. It's easy to take our loved ones for granted during the holiday season, but for some in Taiwan, just starting a family can come with legal challenges. Harel Hughes reports.
On a street corner in New Taipei, Moda and City wait for the school bus to pick up their 4-year-old daughter, Dobie. The two women have been together for 8 years and are legally married. They welcomed Dobie in 2020, thrilled to have their first child.
我们两个在争宠，我们现在会觉得我的女儿就是皇上，我们两个就是嫔妃。今天皇上你想跟谁睡啊？
As a lesbian couple, starting their family was a long and difficult process. According to Taiwan's laws, women who freeze their eggs can only access them with their husband's signature, a problem for Taiwan's single women and queer couples like City and Moda. Unable to start their family in Taiwan, they had to look abroad for a pregnancy that was far from easy.
最重要的问题是，我也碰到过，就是我差点死掉这件事情。就是我在柬埔寨的时候。
Complicating the pregnancy further was a need for coordination between doctors across international borders. But ultimately, they succeeded and had Dobie. 2 years later, they decided to try again, spending well over $60,000 for the 2 treatments. This time, City decided to carry their child, hoping pregnancy would be easier for her. But after 9 months, tragedy struck.
都很顺利，然后到我要准备要就是
临盆，
等他生出来的那个礼拜呢，突然间呢，小朋友就没有心跳，对，然后那个事件就让我觉得就是一个考验吧，就是可能我就是一个过得太顺利的一个人。
Although their journey has been difficult, City and Moda are eager to share their experience, working with Taiwan LGBT family rights advocacy, a Taiwan-based NGO focused on advocacy, legal rights, and organizing family events for queer couples.
看到这么多的同志家庭，最重要是看到孩子就是在地上就是爬追逐来互相就是在那个愉快的下午陪伴彼此的时候，他们其实有给我们一个很棒的回馈是，当他们看到真的有人实践了同志成家的这一个理想的时候，他们就更有信心了。他们就知道他们不是全台湾唯一一对就是想要有小孩的lesbian couple 这样子。
Taiwan's health ministry has proposed an amendment to the law on assisted reproduction, but City and Moda decided not to wait and are instead trying again, hoping to expand their family no matter the cost nor the potential for heartbreak. In their view, the risk is worth it for the chance of a happy ending. Eason Chen, Millie Hughes, and Harrell Hughes for TaiwanPlus.
Keeping things in the family, an indigenous family band from Taiwan's east coast took their award-winning music to Japan for a one-time only performance. Tiffany Wong reports.
In unique and perfect harmony, the Poyuma family band from Taiwan is singing their traditional indigenous songs, accompanied by the brass and strings of Japan's style Kyoto Orchestra. Hundreds came to see them perform together at this festival in Japan, celebrating Taiwanese culture.
当然，我们要带出台湾最有特色的这个歌谣来跟他们交流哈，所以其实我也费尽心思。
The Poyuma are one among 16 recognized indigenous peoples in Taiwan, accounting for 2% of the country's population. They have their own language and musical traditions, distinct from those of Taiwan's majority Han Chinese population. Their unique sound posed a challenge when working with a modern Japanese orchestra.
我们有时候一句话可能他超会唱个6拍5拍，然后这个跟西洋音乐可能会有一些的落差，所以我们就尽量就是用身体的律动来跟他们搭配。
Besides body language, the groups found they were able to communicate in Japanese as well, a remnant of Japan's colonization of Taiwan.
我们就是爸爸妈妈那个时代，几乎就是都是会讲日文，所以对日文对我们来讲还蛮耳熟的。
Just before going on stage, the group gathered to offer rice wine to their ancestors and welcome them on stage, a Poyuma tradition during important family events. and the stirring performance that followed moved some in the audience to tears.
那说真的，今天原住民的歌谣能够由交响乐来伴奏，我会觉得是好像把自己的部落跟文化和跟歌谣都会提升一点。
And as they played their final song, the Puyuma group invited the Japanese conductor to sing along in their indigenous language, the sounds of the orchestra swelling behind them, a celebration of their shared history and cultural ties. Kamashri and Tiffany Wong in Kyoto, Japan for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwanese drag superstar Nymphia Wind became the pride of Taiwan last year after being crowned the winner of the world's biggest drag competition. This past year, I attended a watch party with Nymphia's drag family to watch her make herstory. An explosion of yellow and tears and screams of joy and pride as Nymphia Wind is crowned the winner of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 16, an incredibly popular, award-winning reality show, becoming the first queen of East Asian descent to do so.
Oh my God! Nymphia Wind, the glory of Taiwan, won RuPaul's Drag Race. I am beyond thrilled about the result.
I'm just very, very proud. Very, very proud.
看到的时候就看到哭了，然后为她很高兴，就是因为她真的很想要赢。
Nymphia, known as Liu Cao out of drag, celebrated her iconic win in New York City. But back in Taipei, the local drag community arranged a watch party for the grand finale. Among this crowd of LGBTQ+ people and allies at this viewing party are Nymphia's friends, family and fans, many of whom have been following her journey since the very beginning, including Hannah Monina, Nymphia's own drag daughter, who was overwhelmed by the result, saying it will help raise Taiwan's profile.
因为知名度就是一个很好的敲门砖，就是有人看到这件事情，就会更想了解我们，然后就会更会知道我们这个文化的多元性是什么。
But more than just a win for Taiwan, Nymphia's success also spotlights the wider Asian community.
Growing up, we see all this white as model, like the image, the perfect thing, and I was like, oh, I'm not worthy. And then seeing like she can do it, then I was like, yes, hope.
It's so overwhelming having someone that looks like me win Drag Race.
Nymphia cut her teeth at Café de Leader, in the heart of Taipei's Ximending Entertainment District, where many of Taiwan's performers get their start. The bar's owner, Alvin Chang, has long been involved in the scene, providing Nymphia with a stage when she started performing back in 2018. He has personally experienced the transformative power of drag.
I was like a CC girl, CC boy when I was a kid, and I always be bullied. But after I found drag, I feel power, I feel confident, and so much fun.
An art form rooted in protest, drag performers have long been torchbearers for LGBTQ+ issues and movements. And it's a culture that Taipei-based performer and event organizer Bouncy Babs hopes to protect.
For me, it's really important to create spaces, especially for young queer artists like drag artists, to have a space where they can just come and showcase their beauty, their talent, their art.
Nymphia is known for incorporating traditional Taiwanese culture and aesthetics into her costumes and performances. And now that she's becoming one of the most recognizable Taiwanese faces on the planet, she'll come to represent not only drag, but also the country she proudly calls home. Joseph Wu and Rees in Taipei for TaiwanPlus. It's been 5 years since Taiwan enacted laws to safeguard migrant workers' rights to have children in the country. But despite this progress, some foreign nationals still face challenges during pregnancy. Eugene Huang reports.
A strong heartbeat is a relief for expectant mother Wadi. Pregnant with her first child at the age of 36, Wadi is acutely aware that her age means higher risks for her baby.
医生请问一下，那个宝宝一天他动才几次才是正常的？
一般来说就是都会一直动哦。
因为好像看起来是昨天比较没有那么动，所以我会担心。
Wati from Indonesia has been accompanied to her prenatal checkup by a social worker from the shelter she stays at. As a migrant worker who has lived in Taiwan for over 10 years, she initially didn't picture starting a family here. Pregnancy used to be taboo. In most cases, if a foreign worker got pregnant, their employer would send them home. In a system where a broker fee can account for half of an annual salary, to be sent back and reapply for a job in Taiwan would be a huge blow. Changes to the law in 2019 have made things easier for pregnant migrant workers to stay. Knowing that she didn't need to worry about being deported after being out of work for 2 months, Wati and her husband decided not to wait any longer to have children.
跟我这样子，大概36岁，如果我等到赚到钱，然后回去生孩，比较年纪比较大，也是生孩比较不好的。
今天有没有带小军去散步？
有啦，我刚才早上都有去散步了。
Wati's husband comes from Thailand. They met and fell in love in Taiwan. Both migrant workers have lived away from home for years, and they were eager to start the next chapter of their lives. They got married and planned to have children in the country that brought them together. After Wati got pregnant, she sought legal assistance and found this shelter. But quitting a job to prepare for a baby's arrival is no simple matter. Mila, another resident at the shelter, had difficulties after an unexpected pregnancy. Her employer and recruitment agency were not aware of the rule change and insisted she leave Taiwan. But as the primary financial provider for her family, going back home was not an option for Mila, especially when her mother needed money for medical care.
我担心如果我回去，谁给的钱？如果我回去，我怕我没有太大企业，我在这里，我怕他没有了，我没有看到。
The shelter caters to people in Mila's situation, but this safety net is not always stable. Despite government support, migrant workers still face discrimination. The shelter once had to relocate due to complaints from local residents.
每周都会有不同的单位，像劳工局啊，然后警察，然后消防局啊，就是各式各样的调查这样子。虽然他们都是合法的移工啦，可是看到警察还是会有一些畏惧这样。
These mothers are among over 750,000 migrant workers in Taiwan, forming a crucial part of the country's workforce. However, their contribution often goes unappreciated, and some locals don't even view them as people with aspirations for life beyond working.
每个人的人生规划就是都有工作这一块，然后也有家庭这一块，然后希望可以不要就是让他们好像只是专注工作的机器人，让他们也有机会就是享受到在台湾就是家庭的温暖，他也有成家的一个需求这样。
Expectant mothers no longer have to worry about being deported for not working. But after their babies are born, a whole new set of challenges will present itself. They'll have to navigate the complexities of being a working mother, raising children in a foreign land. Another area where Taiwan's laws still lack much-needed provisions for them. P.T. Zhuang, Kamashi, and Yujin Huang for TaiwanPlus.
Last year, a 5-year-old girl became the first child born to non-Taiwanese parents to get a disability card. But as her family is finding out, the struggle is far from over. Louise Watt reports.
Five-year-old American Anwin Hart-Brown loves the Beijing opera. She's seen it online many times at the family home in New Taipei City, but never in a theatre. That's because, despite having trouble walking and seeing from a distance, she hasn't been allowed to sit in a disabled seat. Until now.
You like the Beijing operas that show the gods, right?
Uh-oh. An Win has congenital heart disease and left hemiplegic cerebral palsy. The left side of her body is weak. Though born in Taiwan, as the child of foreigners, An Win's disability was not officially recognized, leaving her locked out of benefits and services. But the regulations have just been changed, and she now has a disability card.
The biggest advantage is not having to tell people that she doesn't have one and explain. And then also getting to go places where she can't take full advantage of them because of her disability.
In Taiwan, only permanent residents from Japan, the United States, Britain and Canada are eligible for a disability certificate. And those Western nations only recently, after a campaign by rights activists. These nationalities have been singled out because their countries offer Taiwanese disability benefits. But An Win's parents say that much remains inaccessible.
We aren't able to get anything that requires a financial subsidy. So we can't get respite care, which being we don't have family here, and we don't have any support to help take care of her.
So far, they've been told they qualify for discounts for transport and cultural activities. But care and subsidies depend on other government programs.
The Ministry of Health and Welfare told TaiwanPlus that to access most of the benefits and services, a disability card is not enough. For some subsidies, for example, you need a household registration document. And that's something that's only available to Taiwanese citizens.
Rights activists say they will keep fighting and press the government to remove obstacles.
In Taiwan, we have been so blessed with the convenience of centralized database. Everything is consolidated onto the household registration. So we forget how to do it without it. But I think that's something that the local government can learn and to start working on it.
Authorities say An Win will get another assessment to see if she qualifies for more benefits. While there are still gaps in what foreigners can access, for now at least, An Win is happy she will soon get to see and hear Beijing opera performers up close in a theatre. Klein Wong and Louise Watt for TaiwanPlus.
Yay!
Taiwan is considered one of the most LGBTQ+ friendly countries in Asia, particularly since legalizing same-sex marriage in 2019. But even that landmark ruling left some queer people seeking lifelong unions unable to do so.
Forget sign off. Cabinet the dorm is huge.
Enjoying a rare day together in his apartment in Taipei, speech and debate coach Chase Williams is with his husband, Mark Maccabetus. They seldom see each other, as they're forced to live cities apart. Because Maccabetus, who's Filipino, is in Taiwan on an extremely restrictive migrant factory workers visa, which means he has to live where he works, and that's partway across the country, away from his husband.
We don't have any other options right now. This is like the option that we're going through.
The couple met in Taiwan and have both lived here for over 5 years. But only Williams, who's American, has been able to apply for permanent residency. On his restrictive visa, Maccabetus can only leave Taiwan once per year. And in 2022, the couple used that to get married in the US, hoping Mark could then live in Taiwan on a more flexible marriage visa. But they faced a problem when they got back to Taiwan.
We ran into an issue where Taiwan wouldn't recognize our valid US marriage because of a gap in marriage equality here.
Courts in Taiwan only recognize same-sex marriages between foreigners if both people are from countries that allow same-sex unions. a condition that doesn't factor in if one of the pair is Taiwanese or for heterosexual couples. It's an inequity that has led Williams and Maccabetus, whose home country doesn't recognise same-sex unions, to the courts.
A lot of the arguments we're making in our filing are about how foreigners are treated in Taiwan across multiple sort of government decisions and how there's an inconsistency between residents and citizens.
According to rights activists, those inconsistencies between locals and foreigners, and homosexual and heterosexual people, stem from the way Taiwan legalized same-sex marriage back in 2019.
In Taiwan, same-sex marriage is legalized in a special law. So it's not to amend our civil code. So some rights are different from what straight people have in the civil code.
But lawyers for Williams and Maccabetus are confident their case will be heard and bring full equality to marriage laws moving forward.
同志运动它是不断地透过每一个当事人的努力，去逐步地达成在文化还有制度上面的成功。
The couple have several months to wait before their case gets heard. For now, they'll continue cherishing their scarce days together until Taiwan's courts bring full equality into its marriage laws and allow them to pursue the married life they'd dreamed of. Justin Wu, Patrick Chen, Scott Huang, Rick Glauert and Rhys Ayres for TaiwanPlus. Thank you for joining me for this special Lunar New Year broadcast. I'm Rhys Ayres, wishing you a prosperous year ahead.